deal with the Timberwolves. That's according to ESPN. He declined his $31 million option in favor of a new long-term contract with the T-Wolves. The three-time All-Star was dealt to Minnesota in October as part of the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. In his first season with the T-Wolves, Randle posted just under 19.7 rebounds per game as the Timberwolves made the conference finals in back-to-back years for the first time in franchise history. We've got our NBA host and analyst John Gonzalez joining us now. And John, as we hear the news of Julius Randle sticking with the Minnesota Timberwolves, your first reaction to him being a part of this core now with Anthony Edwards and of course now Naz Reid too.
Yeah, I think this was probably not in the Timberwolves' long-term best interest, but they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here, Mike. On the one hand, they went to back-to-back Western Conference Finals, as you mentioned, right? So if you're one of those teams, it's very rare to do that. You think to yourself, hey, even in a loaded Western Conference, we're competitors. We were right there. We could have potentially unseated Oklahoma City. Maybe it could have been us that went to the NBA Finals. So why don't we just keep the core together? But, with Julius Randle, locking him into 3 years for $100 million with a player option on the back end, that makes that contract tougher to unload if down the road you decide, hey, we want to move on from him. I wasn't a huge Julius Randle guy to begin with. Starting last year, I thought that the Knicks got the better end of that trade. Initially, when the team got off to a slow start, I thought maybe they should unplug Julius Randle from the starting lineup, move him to the bench. In fairness, he was much better after the All-Star break. He really changed how he played. It was less of the ball goes in, he dribbles the air out of the ball, and he wasn't much of a passer or a facilitator. That changes as the season went along. However, I'm just not sure that there's a huge Julius Randle market here. And now you're probably just under the second apron, but still in an apron situation, first apron situation that's going to make team building pretty difficult. And they were always coming into this year, or this offseason rather, deciding between, it was a sort of a pick-two situation between Naz Reid, Julius Randle, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Well, Naz Reid got his extension. Now Julius Randle gets his. So it's probably bye-bye Nickeil Alexander-Walker. It's going to make things tough for the Wolves going forward.
You mentioned being stuck between a rock and a hard place because they did make it back to the Western Conference Finals. So when you look at the Thunder, if they are the team that's going to be the perennial power there in the West, just how close are they really with this move?
Yeah, I mean, they're in a group, it's a grab bag situation where if you threw in, I don't know, 6 to 8 other teams in the Western Conference, you picked one out, Mike, and you told me that's the team that's going to challenge Oklahoma City next year, I'd say, sure, that makes sense. I mean, you got the Lakers and the Warriors and the Nuggets and obviously the Wolves, because the Wolves are have made back-to-back Western Conference Finals, but you've got ascendant teams, too, that you've got to factor in, like the Spurs, the Clippers last year, I think, were better than the sum of their parts, and we'll see what happens with James Harden as this day continues. But yeah, they're in the mix, but I wouldn't have them as the principal contender to challenge Oklahoma City next year. Don't forget that they got off to a pretty slow start. They played much better after the All-Star break, for sure, after the new year. And once they got into the Western Conference playoffs, they really started to gain some momentum. But, they also drew the Golden State Warriors when Steph Curry was damaged. So that's super helpful, right? And then all of a sudden they got the Lakers in 5, then they got Golden State in 5, and then all of a sudden they show up to play Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City absolutely steamrolled them. I thought the Pacers gave Oklahoma City a much better effort. I thought the Nuggets gave Oklahoma City a much better effort. So how close are they? I don't think that they're all that close.
It'll be interesting to see, but here we go. We got another domino that has fallen today. We talked about LeBron James opting in to his player option earlier today. Now Julius Randle has. John, thank you so much. Again, Julius Randle has opted out, but signed the 3-year is going to sign a 3-year extension with the T-Wolves. But here are some other notable upcoming dates in the association. Free agency is going to begin tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Summer League action starts July 5th to the 8th. Then free agent signing period is going to open July 6th. And after that, we have the Las Vegas Summer League running for 10 days there in July.
It was a very busy day for Shams Charania. And Shams, we thought it would be mostly team options, player options, free agency. But I understand you have news involving an NBA free agent, but of a more serious sort. What's going on?
This is a serious development for one of the NBA's top free agents right now. Sources tell me the U.S. District Attorney's Office is investigating Detroit Pistons guard Malik Beasley on allegations of gambling on NBA games and prop bets. I'm told it was during, allegedly, the 2023-2024 season. I have a quote from Beasley's attorney, Steve Haney. He said an investigation is not a charge. Malik is afforded the same right of the presumption of innocence as anyone else under the U.S. Constitution. As of now, he has not been charged with anything. I am told, though, that Beasley and the Pistons were in serious talks on finalizing a 3-year, $42 million contract that would have brought Beasley back to Detroit. But now those talks are on pause. Talks around the league likely on pause for Malik Beasley as well.
And there was an incident back in 2020 for which Beasley did serve some jail time. I know it's not germane that it's related, but you start talking accruals and free agency and off-court risk. Those things come into play. Shams, thanks so much. We'll be back with you as the stories continues to develop. On the Mount Rushmore in the NBA, breaking news from our Shams Charania. LeBron making it official. He's opting into a $52.6 million player option to stay with the Lakers this season. LeBron, when he steps on the floor, will be the first player in league history to play 23 seasons. LeBron, again, turns 41 December 30th. That's just the first part of the story. LeBron's agent, Rich Paul, opening the door ever so slightly with some remarks. Shams now fresh off the phone, in with us. What more can you tell us, Shams, about LeBron opting into this season with the Lakers?
So he's opting in. He's going to be playing a 23rd NBA season. But what we don't know is exactly what are the Lakers doing with their roster to improve this team into a championship quality state, because he has made it clear to the Lakers that he wants to compete for a championship, and there is some uncertainty that he has with the Lakers roster. My understanding is LeBron James has been supportive of the Lakers wanting to build younger, building toward the future around the face of their franchise for the next decade in Luka Doncic. And Rich Paul told me, as appreciative as they are, and as appreciative of the partnership they've had with the Lakers, Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka, they know that the Lakers have to do what's best for them. LeBron also has to evaluate his future and what that means. He's going to play 23 seasons, yes, but he wants to be in a championship mode next season. He wants to make every season left count. That's what Rich Paul, Clutch Sports CEO, told me today. So this adds an interesting wrinkle in this free agency. So he's under contract, but clearly he is evaluating how he wants to finish his NBA career.
I want to press in there. This quote we see partly saying, we understand the difficulty in winning now. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage of his life and career. Shams, he turns 41 in December. Based on those comments, does that mean that the door is open for LeBron to potentially play another NBA game for a team other than the Lakers?
It means that the sides are open on conversations depending on how free agency goes, how the trade window goes, how these next couple weeks go. Will be very critical to see what moves do the Lakers make. But clearly, based on Rich Paul, Clutch Sports CEO's comments, they are evaluating what moves the Lakers are making. They're closely monitoring what moves are being done. And if LeBron James feels like this team isn't in a position to really compete for a championship, then that's a conversation they're going to have.
A lot of decisions to come for the Lakers that can extend Luka.
We do have one more bit of news here. Lakers forward Dorian Finney-Smith is declining his $15.4 million player option for next season. He will enter free agency now, and there are multiple contending teams with interest in Dorian Finney-Smith. A Lakers return is possible, but he's going to have and field interest from multiple contenders beginning on Monday night.
That's a guy who's played for the Mavs, the Nets. The Lakers traded for him the day before LeBron's 40th birthday. Now they got to sort that out as well. No centers on the roster. Shams, with the latest, I know you're busy, probably got to take more calls. As news breaks, Shams, we'll have you back here on SportsCenter.
Thank you.
The news breaking right here on SportsCenter. Let's bring in our NBA front office insider, Bobby Marks, is with us right now. You just heard Shams and saw Rich Paul's quote. LeBron officially opting into his player option for the upcoming season. How can the Lakers upgrade their roster around LeBron and Luka with the assets they have available? And now the news of Dorian Finney-Smith declining his player option.
Yeah, the Dorian Finney-Smith declining that player option is a domino effect right now. Before, with Finney-Smith on the roster, they had the 5